Yeah, I think you look at his resume, his body of work. Now, he's probably not going to have the most gaudiest of numbers. He's probably not going to have the 40-plus touchdowns like a Tua is going to have. Look like he's going to be over 5,000 yards. But you look at it, 9 touchdowns through 5 games with 0 picks, averaging over 9 yards per attempt. He's number 1 in QBR. And you look at his team. I believe he has the best team in football currently, and he happens to be the quarterback. He plays mistake-free football. He delivers because they force you to guard every blade of grass.
Yeah.
Kittle to catch it. You can catch it. Debo. They throw Texas route to the fullback. Juszczyk. We know what C-Mac can do. Absolutely, he needs to be in the MVP discussion. I'm not going to say that he's going to win, but I think we got to mention his name when we start talking about these other quarterbacks. The Patrick Mahomes having a good season, the Tua, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy belongs in that conversation.
Totally agree. Brock Purdy is absolutely going to be an MVP conversation. Not he should be, he will be into that MVP conversation. You know, I talked about this on NFL Live during last week. Brock Purdy has changed Kyle Shanahan's offense. Kyle Shanahan's offense under Jimmy Garoppolo was very horizontal. It was sideline to sideline, and Jimmy was really good at it, ball distribution. Brock Purdy, because of his aggressiveness, the arm strength, the accuracy downfield, has allowed Shannon the ball to be stretched and spread horizontally and vertically.
Yes.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that are making throws downfield, like big boy throws, and you know them, like big boy throws downfield at a high level this year. Brock Purdy is in that conversation with those guys, the Josh Allens, the Matthew Staffords, Patrick Mahomes. When it comes to downfield, I don't know if there's a guy who has more downfield completions this year than Brock Purdy. I'm talking 15-plus yards down the field. And if there was – that's why, like, when people say any quarterback could go in Kyle Shannon's offense and play, like, high-level football, I don't agree with that. There are quarterbacks that elevate this system, and Brock Purdy is one of them. The athleticism. You guys remember last night there was a 2-play stretch that kind of changed it for me. It was 3rd and 3, third quarter. He throws a shake route or a crosser route, Shannon, or to I think Ayuk, and they get the holding penalty.
Okay.
It goes 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 13, and he throws an in-breaker to Debo Samuel right over those zone-dropping defenders. It's perfectly in stride. He catches it for a 42-yard gain. In that moment, I was like, that cat's different. And I always kind of thought he was, but that's different level ball coming from him.
I'm going to be deferential to y'all because I'm going to be very serious with what I'm about to say. Of course, he's in that conversation. There's no doubt about it. 72% for completion, 9 touchdowns, not a single interception. He and C.J. Stroud are the only starting quarterbacks in the National Football League without an interception. Starting quarterbacks. Here's where I have a little bit of hesitation when it comes to Brock Purdy. So Shannon, D.O., I'm watching him yesterday. And again, 6 feet, having to look over those opposing defensive linemen coming his way. A few of the passes early were batted down. And I'm thinking along the lines of, as the season progresses and you're going up against the better teams, okay, that can get at you. When faced against pressure, I'm not questioning his poise. I'm not questioning his knowledge of the offense, the ability to do what Shanahan wants him to do. But that size, having to look over opposing oncoming defensive linemen, combined with the arm strength in terms of the velocity or lack thereof, you do wonder if there's some quickness afoot on the defensive side of the ball coming after him, whether or not he can be had. I'm just looking at him from that standpoint. Christian McCaffrey is that dude. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, those dudes. Kyle Shanahan in his play calling and positioning him to offset some of those things that would happen. I get it. All I'm saying is that early on, obviously not the last 3 quarters, but earlier on, Shannon, D.O., when I saw some of those passes batted down, I imagined playoff time, come some of the better teams, what you going to do then if you're relatively undersized as a quarterback and you're having to look over those?
Let me tell you why that was happening, Stephen A. Because the 49ers offensive line was strangling the Cowboys, so they couldn't get pressure, so they got their hands up. And if you watch him throw the ball, his anticipation, because when that guy's outside foot hit on an in-breaking route, that ball is out of his hands. That ball is gone. He's not waiting to guys get open. He's throwing guys open. So I'm not worried. Even though the lack of arm strength, I'm not worried about it because his anticipatory skills are outstanding.
All right.
This kid's awesome. He is an MVP type of quarterback.
He's tied for 3rd favorite to win MVP. with Tua and Josh Allen.
The only quarterback in the NFC I'm taking over him is Jalen and maybe Stafford when it comes to just flat out throwing it. His size.
Growing up, Dan, as much as of a Pittsburgh Steelers fan as I was, you know who I used to marvel at before Montana came along?
Who?
I loved Kenny Stabler.
Oh,
who would just
the Raiders.
The Raiders, who just pick you apart. The snake, who just pick you apart. But when you look at the NFL today with the athletes, with the size and speed coming your way, you do, that's why I asked y'all and I said I would defer. You do look at velocity combined with size and the ability to see over opposing defensive linemen to ask those questions.
I think, real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The most
The show's
important
gonna be
quarterback
over, but-
traits this kid has.
Okay.